What are, one of the questions I've got here is what browser centric controls would you list as a must have? Like if I'm watching this and I have a company, I'm thinking, oh man, everyone's on their browser all the time. I don't know, even I can't remember my cyber insurance policy. What are some must haves that you think people should
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
like
So
MFA would be one thing once upon a time that we might throw into this cup. What are the must haves?
yeah. So the must have at this point in time is almost 80% of the organizations we speak with don't have managed browsers. So what is a managed browser? Chrome, Edge, all of these browser companies allow you a way to control the browser, to harden the browser similar to how you would be hardening Windows or Mac, and to restrict risky activities right off the bat. So step one in my mind is manage your browsers. Don't allow your users to go about doing anything in the browser, installing any browser extension, and all. So that is number one. The second is do a browser security posture assessment. And here is what it could actually give you. Some of our users are doing more risky activity online than others, right? Joe on the research team is visiting dark websites, onion sites. He has Tor installed, which is driving his browser, and you don't even know about that at this point in time. And this is really where, simple things, Martin. Anytime, let's say Chrome tells you to update, there are a lot of users we know will never update their Chrome because they don't want to bring up all those windows back again, right? But that update may have a critical CV vulnerability which attackers are actively exploiting. So if you don't manage your browsers, you can't force a restart anymore. And a user could be on a stale browser for months. So that's I would kind of say, T equal to 0, something you can do immediately. You don't even need a security product. Now, post that, if you want to do something more, then you probably need like a browser direction response, which is an EDR in the browser DLP, and all of those. And that is probably a more mature, part of the life cycle of how to think about browser security.
So, in the context of your point about bend don't break is the sort of thing you're seeing in cybersecurity now, that someone's going to get in eventually, but you want to minimize that. With regard to the sort of evidence that gets created and the post-event sort of forensic analysis at a browser level, what kinds of things would companies be wise to preserve, if you will, so that the claims process is a little smoother? What about that space?
Yeah. So I think at this point in time, as you rightly said, there is barely any telemetry in the browser that is being sent back to a SIM or a SOC, for long-term audit trails, right? You barely know what your user is actually accessing. Most ordinary users can just go remove their history entirely. So if there is an incident and you want to do forensics and trace back, you're scratching your head. And that is really where, Martin, similar to the endpoint, similar to what you do on Windows, there needs to be reasonable amount of audit trail, log collection, and long-term preservation of those on a per browser, per employee level. Without that, there is absolutely no way to prove or disprove anything when an incident happens. And I think, of course, to some extent, and maybe this is not a nice thing to say, this actually works in favor of the insurance companies, because if you don't have, non-reputable evidence, then at that point in time, your claim isn't going to go through, because there are so many, kind of like blind spots in there, which was your mistake because you should have gone ahead and maintained all of that. So I would say that's the first piece. Retain browser logs, which is browser history, what users are accessing. When an incident happens, make sure you create a forensic, image of what was there in the browser at that point in time, snapshot of the password, session cookies, and all that. And people aren't doing this in absolutely any systematic way that I've seen. And I'm talking Fortune 500, not small companies.